Welcome back and happy Monday. It's grammar time with Mrs. Clevenger again, and today we're going to continue practicing our commonly confused words, also known as frequently confused words. Remember our homophones and homonyms and homographs? Well, we're going to start today with a quick little refresher review video using our brain pop, and then we're going to go on to our focus for today, which will be whose or whose. So here we go.
Moby rode down the road. Later, he rode down the road again. But he didn't get very far. The words road, road, and road are homonyms. What are homonyms? A homonym is a word that is spelled or pronounced the same as another word, but has a different meaning. How do dogs communicate? They bark. What covers the trunk and branches of a tree? Bark. What kind of bird has a long neck and long legs? A crane. What machine can lift and move heavy objects? A crane. Those homonyms are spelled and pronounced the same, but they have different meanings. What do you use to shoot an arrow? A bow. What might you tie around a gift? A bow. I can think of another homonym that's spelled the same way. What do you do after you perform on a stage? You take a bow. Homonyms that are spelled the same are called homographs. The wind blows through my hair. You wind up a toy. The words wind and wind are spelled the same, but you pronounce them differently. Moby dove into the pool. A dove is a symbol of peace. Homonyms that sound the same are called homophones. Homophones might be spelled differently, like the words peace and peace. A plane is a type of landform. A plane flies through the sky. Two, two, and two, there, and there, and your are homonyms we use often. Sometimes spelling them can be a little tricky. How do you work with homonyms when you read or write? When you read a homonym in a sentence, pronounce it in different ways and try to figure out what makes sense. Moby plays the bass. It doesn't make any sense to say Moby plays the bass. When you write, remember that some homonyms are pronounced the same but spelled differently. Which is the correct word to use in this sentence? Moby tried to slay the dragon. It doesn't make sense to write Moby tried to slay the dragon. When you write, make sure you use the right word. Be sure to check over and proofread your work. Moby smells the flower. I know that flour is something you use to bake. flower is a plant. So I need to fix my sentence. Moby smells the flower. homonyms can be confusing if you use the wrong one. What's in the cabinet? It's bare. No, it's a bear.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. Okay, so right now I'm going to focus on today's focus, which is going to be the who's. Let me move me. The who's, or the who's. Okay, so remember, homophones are words that sound the same but have different meanings. So let's talk about these. The W-H-O-S-E, whose, is a possessive. It means belonging to who. Okay, it shows ownership when something belongs to you. For example, whose phone is this, right? You wouldn't say who is phone is this, right? So it would be the W-H-O-S-E. Sorry, I just got a package. Thank you, UPS man. Whose package is that, right? It's Mrs. Clevenger's package out there on the porch. Okay, so here's an example. Whose car are we taking? You wouldn't say who is car are we taking, right? Whose shows ownership, okay? Now, the opposite, the W-H-O apostrophe S is a contraction for who is or who has. Here's an example. Who's able to answer the question? Who is able to answer the question? So just remember, the W-H-O apostrophe S means who is. So a good rule of thumb is fill in the blank. If who is doesn't work, then don't use the W-H-O apostrophe S, okay? Let's do some practice. Let me move me out of the way. Okay, here's an example. Whose dog could he be? Asked John. Well, let's try the one with the apostrophe. That would be who is. Whose dog could he be? Well, that just sounds silly. So we know it's not the one with the apostrophe S. So we're going to go with the W-H-O-S-E, which shows ownership. Who owns the dog, right? Who does the dog belong to? So let's look at number 2. Do you know whose dog this is? I asked. Would it be whose or whose? So confusing, right? Well, let's try the who is. Do you know who is dog this is? Well, once again, doesn't sound good. So we're going with the W-H-O-S-E, which shows ownership, right? Do you know who owns this dog, right? Let's look at the next one. 2 days later, a woman and a little girl came to her house. This is Rebecca, the girl whose dog ran away. Let's try the who is. This is Rebecca, the girl whose dog ran away. That sounds silly. So once again, it's going to be the W-H-O-S-E. Okay, let me move that up a little bit. Oops, where'd it go? Where'd you go? W-H-O-S-E, and that is just crazy. So let's just try this again. I'm just gonna roll with it. Let's look at this next one. Who's responsible for putting up the posters? I'd like to give them a reward. Well, let's try the who is. Who is responsible for putting up the posters? Ooh, it makes sense. So we're going with the W-H-O apostrophe S because that means who is. Okay, so since today is Monday, you're going to be practicing the who's or the who's with your practice slides. It should look something like this. So let me show you how you're going to do this. So they look like Instagram memes. You're going to look at the way whose is written. If it's written correctly, give them a win, and you're going to drag the win in the box, okay? If it's not written correctly, then give them a fail, and then you're going to write in here, the box up here, the whose it should be, okay? The correct one. So you can do some dragging and some typing, and you have this one. You have 3 today, and tomorrow, look for me again for the next video because we're going to continue practicing commonly confused words. I will see you later, everybody. Bye.